Cold waters. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Inspired by the 1988 classic Red Storm Rising, which I haven't played, command a nuclear submarine in a desperate attempt to prevent mutually assured destruction. Oh no, that sounds good. I want to see mutually assured destruction when the Cold War gets hot and World War III begins. You will be tasked with intercepting convoys, amphibious landings, insertion missions, and battling it out with enemy warships, submarines, and aircraft. Thankfully, in other words, thank fuck, an arsenal of wire-guided torpedoes, anti-ship and cruise missiles, and the occasional SEAL. What the fuck are SEALs gonna do? Go or SEAL team are on board to keep the Iron Curtain at bay. Yes guys, it's a submarine game with real-time naval combat, 40 classes of ships and subs, all meticulously researched. Guys, the last time I played a submarine game was Silent Service, and I think probably the combat. I need to be fan on, it's fucking roasting. Hey, you only get professional reviews on my channel. Top tip guys, if you put a fan on a swivel chair, you can turn said chair to direct. So yes guys, Silent Service back on the Commodore 64 was the last submarine game I played. The games that came after that I never really played, I was too drunk. I was going through that phase in my life, you know the phase, that phase that you kind of regret when you get out of the phase. Well, I was in the phase when yeah. So I kind of saw this on Steam and I thought, 29 fucking smackaroonies for this, are you actually? It's made by Killerfish Games. I mean, they're not the kind of company you want to like throw £30 at, you know? It's like, it's not like a brand name like Mr. Whippy, Mr. Whippy ice cream. Do you know what? Our ice cream van, right, used to come around when I was a kid. If you went up to him and said, a can of Eddie, you would get a can of Coca-Cola. Because a lad called Eddie bumped somebody for a can of Coke. Ice cream men know everything, don't they? How did I get on? How can you review a submarine game and then get onto Ice Cream Men? How the fuck does that work? This game is the kind of game that you need to learn the following phrases. How the fuck did he see me? Fuck you, this game cheats. This is too fucking hard, I want a refund. What a pile of shit, the graphics look like wank. Huh, is that it? You need to learn all of those phrases, right, if you're going to play this game. And you'll be wrong on all of them. You see, the first couple of hours of playing this, I used all of them phrases a lot. But there was a voice in my head saying, Mac, you've got to read up on it. Mac, you're a prick. Read it. No, Mac, no, you don't. No, you played Silent Service 30 years ago. Read the fucking manual. Yeah, but the manual's shit. It's shit. Yeah, but just read it again. Yeah, but I've read it once, but read it again because you weren't paying attention. It was one of them times, them reads when you're reading it, but your mind's thinking about breasts and stuff like that, but you're still reading the words on the screen. It's like saying, yes, passive radar, but you're thinking, oh, bosoms. And so it doesn't go in, so you have to do it again. Well, that's the kind of game this is. I had to read it 2 or 3 times. I had to watch YouTube videos, guys. I had to learn this game. But now that I've learned this game, I love this game because I don't say stuff like, why is my torpedo tube fucked? And it was fucked because I was trying to fire a torpedo at flank speed, How come they're spotting me? Well, that's because you're using active radar, you bell end. Why can't I dodge that? Because you don't know what a thermal layer is, you prick. What should I do? There's a torpedo coming off. He's killed us. No, torpedo. Go flank, drop a few 100 feet, drop some decoys, turn at least 100 degrees, get the fuck out of there using thermals. You see, guys, this game is like that. You have got to know your thermals from your Y-fronts. If you do know that, you will do well at this game. See guys, Submarine Warfare is about stealth. It's about you seeing them, but them not seeing you. So typical engagement goes like this, guys. You first get a contact. And what you need to do is you need to find out the heading of the contact, the speed of the contact, and more importantly, the identification of what that contact is. If you're at periscope depth and you're pretty close to it, then you can just quickly look through your telescope, ID the target by using a laser designator. You just fire at it, and that'll give you everything that you need. and you've then got a firing solution. Because that's what you're after. You're after a firing solution. At the bottom left of the screen in the readout, and I think it's the middle column, it says SOL, and then there's a percentage. It starts off at 0, and you need to get that up as high as you can. That's your firing solution. So if you can't get the periscope depth, or you're too far away, then there's other things you can do. You can put up a mast which will pick up their radio chatter, but that does give a signal. Actually, you have to be periscope depth to do that anyway, but that's if you're a long way out. But they can pick that up on radar, and they can home in on that, so you have to be careful. The other thing you can do is listen, and with headphones on it's great because you do feel like you're a sonar operator, and you get down using passive sonar, which means they can't really pick it up. You can hear the noise of their engines, the noise the ship makes as it cuts through the water, and you have a database on your submarine of all the ships that's in the game pretty much, and you've got to match the lines. You'll see the lines, the top one on the bottom right of your screen. The top line is the database book that you have, and the bottom line is the signal you're getting from the enemy vessels, which usually isn't a very clear signal, so you have to be careful. And once you match all the lines up, then you have a positive idea on what the vessel is that you're tracking. That'll boost your firing solution as well, so that will go up. You'll notice the percentage goes up when you have that. But you've got to be patient, and you will get a firing solution for that. And once you get that, then you can fire your torpedo. And your torpedoes work on active or passive sonar. Now what that means is active sonar is dangerous. They'll find you on active sonar. They'll also find the torpedo quickly as well. Passive is much harder to actually find, so you should stay in passive a lot when you're in this game. But if you need to go active, you know, when you hear these pings, have you seen The Hunt for Red October? One ping, Vasily. You know, when it pings, that's active sonar. You give a ping, and the ping goes out, and it bounces off everything that it finds and sends a signal back to you, so you can see what's out there. That's active sonar. There's different types of torpedo. The main ones use a wire guided, which means there's a wire on the torpedo, and you kind of fire it in the direction of the ship. You fire the torpedo short and designate the point when the torpedo goes active, and when it goes active it will hunt for signals. So you obviously have to have a decent firing solution which tells you the distance, speed and heading of the enemy ship. If you have a shit firing solution, you'll just be guessing the speed, distance and heading of the ship, so you're probably not going to hit it. So it's important at first to get a good signal. Now if you've got multiple contacts, you've got to do this for all of them contacts. You've got to cycle between each contact, you've got to identify them, you've got to listen to radio chatter, but all the time you've got to keep yourself hidden. Once you've got the firing solutions on all of them, that's the best time to start firing your torpedoes, because if you just start firing at the first one before you've even found out who the other ones are and where they are, they're going to find you. They'll probably even detect you flooding your tubes when you're going to fire. So it's a very strategic game, this. They also have helicopters and planes that can drop torpedoes into the water and hunt you down with sonar buoys and stuff like that. So it's a brutally hard game, guys. But once you've got the firing solution and you fire your torpedoes off, you can actually wire guide them there. You can wire guide 2 at a time, which is really cool, steering a torpedo. But more often than not, you'll just fire it at a point and say, right, I want it to go active at that point, and it will hunt down a signal. And then it will find the ship and bam, hit the ship. And it's so satisfying when you sink a whole fleet and you get away. It's just awesome. But you also have harpoons, you also have cruise missiles. Harpoon ones are awesome. They come firing out the water, skim across the surface and just blast into the side of the ships. They're just lethal. It's so insanely good when you're really in a good combat situation. But I get so much satisfaction out of surviving. It's just, you know, when you're being hit and you're trying to evade, and you need to use thermal layers, and what the thermal layer is, it's the different temperatures of the water, I guess. Basically, the thing to remember is when you were found on the actual sonar and they fire at you, they only know your last known position. If you put run silent on, drop down below the thermal layer, it confuses the torpedo and you can turn tail and get the hell out of there. And it's so satisfying doing that. But you've also got to be careful, because in this game you will fight submarines as well, and they're a different animal altogether. You've got to be really careful and patient and slow until you've actually got a submarine sighted, and they're doing the same thing to you. They're going slow and silent as well, listening for you. If you sneeze, they will pick you up. So it's who picks who up first, who can get a good firing solution first, who fires that torpedo and who hits. That's what it's all about. The game has a single player campaign which is fun. It's a bit unpolished. The campaign is kind of like you see a big map. It's a huge map, and you guide your submarine clumsily with the mouse. And I'm sorry that there's a mouse pointer on the screen, but that's the way it is. And then all of a sudden, it might cut off the screen and go to something else and say you've been spotted. So something's found you, and then you were getting put into a combat situation. Or that might not happen, and you will find the target you're after, and you can just aim your submarine at that target. It's a bit clunky and clumsily done, to be honest, guys. And then you will get the main mission that you're after. It's a long game. It's a kind of, I've only done a couple of missions, and I've played this for like hours and hours. I think 8 hours. It's a very slow-paced game. It's got a few problems that I want to tell you about. There's the ships sometimes vanish and come back, and I'm not talking about stuff that's not on radar. I'm just talking about actual glitches in the game that I've come across. I'm a bit disappointed that you have to micromanage everything yourself. I mean, I would like to just say, hey, periscope depths, just get me to periscope depth, and then have someone say, aye, sir. You know, I would like that. And you can't. You've got to do everything yourself on that. You don't go to different screens. Everything's done on the main screen, which I don't know if I like that. I liked Silent Service, where you had to go to different screens and you got different readouts on your screen. It kind of felt like you were in a submarine. So they're just minor things. Whether it's worth $29.99 is another thing. I mean, you have got single missions as well as the campaign. There is no multiplayer, but you do have... I don't think multiplayer would work with this anyway, so that's fine. I think there's 10 single missions, and then you've got a campaign based around the kind of single missions that you get there, but it's all done in a campaign as a story. You only play the side of the Americans, and you can play in 1968 or 1984, I believe it is. So you've got different technologies. There's lots of different subs that you can use, and like I said at the beginning, there's about 40 different ships that'll come after you, as well as helicopters and planes. So you have to, I think you have to, the main thing I want to tell you is it's not easy. It's quite a hard game. It's a patient game. You have a lot to learn. There's a steep learning curve. You have to really understand everything about this to get the best out of the game. You've got to learn about different ranges of weapons. You've got to learn certainly about the different sonars, how to evade an attack, or you'll just die every time, and when to fire a torpedo, how to fire a torpedo, and how to guide a torpedo should you need to. There's probably, I would say, 2 hours of learning, and I strongly recommend, if you do buy this, that you watch a few YouTube videos, because there's some great ones out there that will help you a lot. It's not for the casual, but if you are into submarine warfare, it's definitely worth a buy. It is worth the $29.99 price. There is no doubt about that. It's a tough one. For casuals, I'd say avoid it or wait till it becomes a lot cheaper. I like it. I'm going to thumb it up because I think the combat is really good. It's a tough game, but it's one of them games that this is why we have PCs for games like this. You simply couldn't play this on a console. This is for people who have blue-haired girlfriends. It's one of them games, guys.